What's going on, my fellow A-Plusers? Welcome back once again to a brand new episode. It is I, your Morphinominal host, as always, Adam Perez, coming through once again with a brand new review, ladies and gentlemen, as we're about to get into Kiramager, episode number 41, the brand new episode that just dropped this past weekend. And we're here to go ahead and talk about it, guys. So if you haven't had the opportunity to check it out yet, this will be a spoiler discussion. So earmuffs, so put us on pause or on your watch list and certainly come back to us if you haven't had the opportunity to check out episode number 41, but we're going to get into it, guys. It's hard for me to just wrap my head around the fact that we are so close. We're so close to this season ending. But, you know, listen, what did they say? All good things do come to an end. And while I'm super excited to go ahead and get into Zenkaiger, it feels like this season has just breezed by so beautifully well that I've just had so much fun with it that I really just don't want to say goodbye. So we'll see what we wind up getting within the next 42, 43, 44, four more episodes here. I feel like that's a plenty to certainly dive into for them to get into in the last 4 episodes. So we'll see what we wind up getting. You know, going into episode number 41, I honestly was not sure what I was going to be getting. I can't remember if it was this past weekend on APlus Morphinominal or prior. Somebody either commented in the live chat or tweeted me about the idea of like, Adam, if you thought episode 40 was a what the type of moment, wait till you check out episode 41. Wow. And I'm thinking to myself, really, is episode 41 that bad? Because I cannot afford 2 back-to-back bad episodes of Kiramager. It's just never happened. That's how good this season is. There's always a banger somewhere in there, right? There's no back-to-back fall-offs or drop-offs for this season. So I really went into this episode with just kind of really low expectations. And I can kind of see where some people would feel about this episode because of all the cat cuteness that we wind up having, right? Like, does Super Sentai have a fascination with like cats or felines or cat ears or just furry little creatures? I don't know. I feel like I see that same type of energy and love for cats as I do with them with like their stuffed animals and stuff at times. So I'm wondering what's kind of going on in there, but outside of the cuteness, that was just the most adorable thing that you can imagine in here. I can understand the cringiness for some people, but I gotta say, I honestly did not mind it so much. I felt like there was a lot more inside of this episode than just the Kiramager kitty cats, if that's how you want to go ahead and put it. I just felt like there was just so much more into this episode, guys. So I definitely want to go ahead and get into it, because I never thought that a Kiramager episode would have Carantula sort of as its spotlight this week. I really wouldn't have. You know, it's funny to me that his story, I should say, actually had a little bit of an emotional impact on me. I can't even lie, guys. Like, you guys know that I've been thinking that Carantula, for the most part, was gonna kick the bucket a long time ago, right? Once Yodana came onto the scene, I immediately thought, you know what, there's probably no need for Carantula anymore. I wouldn't be surprised if Carantula eventually either dies or it gets thrown off of the show or whatever the case may be. It's not going to be around the whole entire season. I even thought that maybe Carantula was destroyed at one particular point in time, right? And then next thing you know, we jump back in the next week's episode, voila, Carantula's back. So I was like, what's going on here? So when we get to the end of this episode and you see the turn for Carantula, I never thought in a million years that the person that would actually do the redeeming for themselves would be Carantula. We sat up here the whole entire time and talked about Yodana, right? The idea of Emperor Yodan taking advantage of Yodana because he's in her body and using her body without a permission, right? Like, and you would think to yourself, hey, this is a great buildup for a storyline for Yodana to want to have that free will of her own, right? To be her own person instead of feeling like she's being controlled and manipulated by somebody else. So I thought if there was anybody that was going to have a turn in here, it was Yodana. Psh, what the do I know, right? Because clearly we got Carantula over here in a fantastic swerve and something that I honestly did not see coming a mile away. having a bit of a change of heart, being a little bit more open-minded in regards to things. But when we get to the end of this episode and we see her I keep seeing her, I'm sorry. When we get to see Carantula being met by Emperor Yodan himself, and he strikes him down, I can't lie. I was my jaw was wide open. I was shocked. I was surprised. I felt some type of way. You know, I'm a sucker for redemption stories, guys. I can't help it. But what was even a bigger surprise was the fact that he manages to survive again. This guy cannot die. He's like the Scrozzle of Beast Morphers at this point. He keeps coming back. And I love the shock, not only the fact that Carantula lives, but that also the person that saves him is Garza. What does Garza have up his sleeve? This guy is devious. Like, if you think Garza's just bringing Carantula back because now he's had a change of heart and he now sort of sees his ways, I highly doubt that's the case. I'm wondering if he's bringing him back simply just to use him for a bigger plan. He did say, I need to use you. I need you for something. What is that plan? If it's Garza, it's probably more power. It's probably a way of getting payback for Emperor Yodan, right? You clearly didn't like what he was doing to you, Carantula, and how he made you feel, right? Clearly wanting to strike you down when you became useless to him. Let's get some payback. So I'm really hoping that these two team up to maybe try and take down Emperor Yodan, even though it is Garza who's probably going to be the one trying to gain that power at the end of the day. But we'll see what their plan is. I have no idea, but I absolutely love the swerve in here. So let's talk about this episode even more here, okay? Because we do start off this episode where we've got Carantula, who is having mental blocks. Creatively, I think if you're a creator, if you're an artist or writer, if you do anything creative, I mean, heck, sometimes there are like topics I want to talk about when it comes to this show, but sometimes I just hit that writer's block, you know? Carantula clearly has hit her sort of hit his creative block. Having come up with, if you ask me, some really cool designs for some great Marsk beasts. And it's funny, too, the fact that even Yodana kind of, like Yodana and Carantula both recognize the idea that the Marsk idea that they had in the previous episode that I found creepy. One of the only things that I loved about that episode was the plan. Like, I thought the plan that Carantula came up with was actually pretty damn brilliant. So I'm glad that she recognized that you actually did have a pretty good plan in regards to your Marsk creations and things like that. But we clearly see that, you know, a price of being good at your job sometimes is you have those blocks, and sometimes you just can't create what you want to create. So I love that he comes up with sort of his greatest creation, if you will. And his greatest creation is that of a lucky cat Marsk. You know, listen, I love the helmet. I really do. I love the mask. Definitely reminds me of the little lucky cat paw that I guess people just, I don't know how it works. I'm assuming you knock the paw over and it just keeps doing that, and you knock it over for good luck. I'm not quite sure. I don't really know how it relates. That's just my lack of knowledge in regards to that. But I have seen it before. I do understand what it certainly represents. And so I love the design for sure. And, you know, the idea of turning people into cats sounds ridiculous, but it's probably not that bad. It's probably pretty good. Probably a pretty good plan, to be honest with you. The fact that the Marsk beast even comes down and says, you know, look, they love to sleep all day. They've got attitude problems. They're capricious, I believe is what he wind up saying. You know, cats aren't going to come out and save the world at all. So the fact that you're going to turn them into cats, I think is a brilliant move. Probably extremely cute and adorable. And I think that's the issue that Tomitomo and Shiguru were certainly having. Like, how can they be this damn adorable? Like, just the type of mood that they wind up setting. So I thought the plan worked great, as ridiculous as it certainly was. But as far as like getting it to create the dark energy that Yodana needs, then clearly not a great plan. But if you just want to eliminate people from just doing anything, turning them into cats is absolutely perfect. I'm not that much of a cat person, despite the fact that I have lived with cats most of my life. Like, while I have a dog, that's my first dog that I've ever had. I've had Gadget for 10 years now. You know, beforehand, my folks would never let me have a dog while living under their roof, I should say. And so for me, it was like, well, when I move out, the first thing I'm going to get is a dog. And I did. But the idea is that I know what it's like to live with cats. They have personalities of their own, man. Cats, some people even say cats have no souls. Like they're just that back and forth with how they want to love you, how they want to hate you, how they want attention, how, get out of my face, you strange mother effer, and scratch or paw. Like that's what they are. And so I love the fact that they recreated humans into cats, into really kind of showcasing how cats perform and how cats act amongst one another. Like the idea that we see the Kiramagers in the command center having fun. They're so adorable at first. You love them. You want to play with them. And then they just flip the switch and they just get batshit crazy and they want to attack you or just have nothing to do with you. Like that's cat. So I love the fact that they at least represented that here rather well for the most part. And honestly, it's not even the cat thing that really overtook this episode. The cat thing was just for, whatever weird cat fetish they might have, or hey, look at this really cute person dressed in this really cute ears and furry ears pretending to be a cat. Like, I get it. But it really didn't do too much for the episode for me besides make me laugh and kind of chuckle a little bit, because I definitely know what it's like to have cats. And I think if you are a cat person or if you've owned cats before, this episode probably would make you chuckle a little bit, honestly. So you can kind of relate, even though you're not the one acting like the cat, but you know what I mean. But so we see that happen. But what I did not expect to see in this episode is the fact that Juruu, who is now a cat, is kind of attracted to Carantula in regards to his robe that he has. Cats love things to gnaw at and whatever the case may be. So there's clearly some attention being given there. And, for me, this honestly really just continues to show just how damn special Juruu is. The fact that this guy doesn't even have to lift a finger to talk to you, to be impactful in your life, I don't even necessarily even make the connection of the idea of Carantula and Juruu both being creators in their own sense, I love the theme of the idea that, you don't always have to do something that you love for work, right? What you do doesn't always necessarily have to have an end result or be for one particular reason. And I love the fact that you get to see that Carantula and Juruu, while they love art or they love creating things, majority of their time is spent in creating things for a purpose, right? Whether it be new Zords, new power-ups, something to overcome an enemy. It's part of a job almost now, right? And you look at Carantula's point of view of having to create Marsk beasts, worrying about making them strong enough, making them frightening enough, right? Like you have a set goal and set vision that you need to kind of put forth, sort of thing. Kind of keeps you trapped in the box that you have to create. You don't really make these, I didn't really make that comparison between these two until you actually see them meet, and you see them meet on a different setting. It's not in the middle of battle. It's in the idea of now we've placed you both, even though you both have complete opposite views of one another, we both put you in the same position that you both love to do, and that's create. And him, I tell you, I keep saying him because I swear that costume design just looks feminine to me. It just, when I look at it, I just immediately think a female. Maybe it's the bat wings, maybe I've seen too many damn female vampires in my life. I don't know. But I love the fact that Carantula, he is able to pick up on the idea that Juruu also loves to be able to just be free with his artwork, right? That everything that you love to do shouldn't just be focused on work. You should be able to do it freely because you love to do it with no restraints. And this is where we come to see that other side of Carantula that we have never truly seen before. And what I loved about this too was I was kind of curious as to what's kind of changed the Carantula. And I love the fact that Garza brings up the fact of the multiplicity episode that we wind up seeing, where Yodana did accidentally, I believe, split Carantula into 5 different entities. And I completely forgot about that moment. And I'm assuming that 5th one that wind up leaving is the one that wind up dying on screen. And it had me up in a tizzy, like, I can't believe they killed Carantula off type of thing, right? Thinking that Carantula was gone for the whole entire season. And it makes sense as to why Carantula kind of just pops back up in the next episode, because of the fact that it's like what we probably saw perish was in fact one of her multiples, or one of his duplicates, I should say. And clearly that duplicate was kind of a personality buffer maybe for Carantula, a part of her that maybe had that sort of honor and trust towards Jotunheim, full completeness, you know what I mean, had that focus of doing the job. And now that you have that side of you kind of taken away, who are you now when you are missing a part of yourself? And this has allowed Carantula to kind of be their own person now. And so I really enjoyed the connection between her and Juruu. I love seeing the power that Juruu has, right? Like, it's moments like this that continue to solidify what it is that King Orden sees in Juruu so much, right? It's that powerful Kara mentality when this guy doesn't even have to say a word. He doesn't even have to act like a human, but just the notion of knowing him, his energy, his vibes, seeing what he loves to do, and just being like just himself and embracing things. Come on, man. Come on. That is incredible. I don't even want to say leadership, because he's not even truly meaning to do it, but that's just as special as it comes, And I don't want to go so far as to say there's like I was going to say a God complex, like this Messiah sort of feeling about Juruu, not that he's like dying and rising from the dead or anything like that, but the fact that he is in his own sense a creator, he's creating things that he sees in front of him that aren't meant to be put together, or never thought of before type of thing. He's a literal creator of things, and to me that feel, and not to say that Juruu saved Carantula here, but it seems as though he kind of helped lead Carantula down another path that maybe maybe he didn't even necessarily knew that he had inside of him. And so I just get that how powerful Juruu is, maybe not even being aware of it, but I don't know why I get this Messiah sort of mentality when I think of Juruu. And I think because of the fact that he's a creator, and I have seen how he's changed people's minds, right? How he's helped people, give people a different perspectives on their lives or how they treat people, right? Tommy Tomo is a perfect example. You see how he's changed, over the seasons and things like that. How he's inspired his other Kiramagers and things like that. So, I love the way that they are presenting and representing Juruu in here, because it does feel unlike anything that I've personally seen. Like, I know that there are people, like when it comes to, like, I've heard complaints about like Lucky from Q-Ranger, I believe, just the idea, I should say, of really bubbly personalities when it comes to Reds, Reds that are really annoying and just overly enthusiastic. I can't put Juruu in that same category, because I feel like his personality just hits differently, has a different impact on the people that surround him, and even some of the villains that surround him also. If you can get King Orden's attention to where he wants to communicate solely with you and nobody else, I just feel like that puts Juruu on a completely different power set and level that we haven't even really tapped into yet. And I feel like his ability to now have turned somebody from Jotunheim against Emperor Yodan himself, I feel like that's pretty powerful stuff to kind of help people open up their eyes and see the truth in front of them. So I honestly really love this story. I really love what they were able to do with Juruu, along with Carantula here, especially Carantula, to kind of see her turn and facing off and being bold in front of Yodana, right? Like when Yodana's threatening her, and even like her little cute stomping on the painting that her and Juruu did. I thought that was pretty funny. But to be able to just stand up in front of Yodana and tell her that you're more prideful than anything, that you want to be able to live that life of being free to draw and create whatever you want, and literally hold that damn whip in front of your hand. Yeah, I think that's a great stance for Carantula to take. And I think I love this episode, not only because it hit close to home and felt deep to me, but it was unexpected and really surprising, kind of mixed in with this really goofy yet cute and goddamn adorable episode of Kiramager. It was killing me, honestly. But yeah, I mean, weird. Yeah, the cat thing is weird. I can't lie. It's a weird fascination with cats that maybe I personally will never understand. But to be able to take that weird fascination and somehow mold it and shape it into episode 41 with some really great deep meanings for Juruu and what it means for Carantula and things like that, and going forward with the Garza turn and stuff at the end. Man, I don't know what else I could have asked for. You know, I was really impressed yet again with this episode. So to me, not a back-to-back a failure here, if you ask me. I think, again, terrible or weird episode, don't know what, banger. I mean, maybe not a banger, but, you know, enjoyable, solid episode for sure. So Kiramager strikes me again, guys. It strikes me again. But listen, you know what? Before I go, I almost forgot about this. I probably should check. I know I've been talking and rambling for a while, but that's how I get, man, when certain episodes just hit you a certain type of way. You know, you just got to get your thoughts out and really express your feelings about it. L'Oreal says, question, what was the oddest part about the episode to you? You know, first off, when I was going into this episode, I did see a screen cap of Seiyo in cat ears, and my heart plunged. And I thought to myself, this is how they're going to treat damn Seiyo, with some cat ears? She don't get enough spotlight as it is, and we're going to put cat ears on damn Seiyo? That's a shame. But and then I realized, oh, it's actually multiple people on this team that get punished here. But I wish I had more Seiyo, you know? Seiyo acted like a baby. She got dumped, and then she acted like a cat. And I'm thinking, that's it? That's Seiyo's storyline this season? Okay. I mean, you know, I would like to have seen more. But, I mean, yeah, just the cat stuff was probably the oddest part. But outside of that, I really enjoyed it all. Wasn't it kind of silly when Juruu, Cena, and Seiyo had cat ears? Oh, absolutely. Quick honorable mention. What I did love about this episode, too, was the forced meow jokes. In all the phrases that they can come up with. Gotta meow. I was like, what the? But it made me laugh. It's like terrible dad jokes that still tickle you. You know what I mean? And so the fact that this, you know what, guys, this brings up another topic I got to bring up real quick. Thank you so much, L'Oreal, for talking about that. I've talked really highly about how this show completely jumps into what it wants to be, right? The fact that it's not afraid to, you know, if it's an episode about poems, Japanese poems, they're not afraid to embrace the concept and the ideas of Japanese poems being in, whether it be part of the game or phrases that they use, right, or their roll calls, right? They really get invested in some of the themes that they highlight in Kiramager, and they did it again. The cat theme was all over the place. Not only was it them looking like cats, but Kiramager also went all in on the cat jokes with the meow, right? But then they all went in again with the roll call this week, where everybody gets their moment in the sun to shine a little bit, but then you get to see the three that are cats to still have their cat movements and their cat meows during their roll call. And it's the dedication to those themes that work for me. And it's been an overall theme in Kiramager all season long. The importance of not only embracing the theme, but also the roll call. The roll call has been super important all season long. And despite it being weird, I gotta give them kudos for going all in when they do stuff like that. And for me, sometimes as weird or ridiculous or uncertain as it may seem, by seeing them embrace it as much as they do, I'm like, hell, I'm on board too. Why not? Let's get a cat roll call, guys. Like, let's do it. Let's do it right meow. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, comments. This episode, as crazy as it is, pretty much suits a cat person like me. Well, I'm glad to know that you're a cat person, L'Oreal. Me, not so much. I've lived enough around them, but yeah. It was so cute seeing Juruu with cat ears, seeing it look cool with them too. Yeah, Seiyo felt like the most comfortable in cat ears. Like, if anybody looks like they could turn out to be a cat one day in another life, it's definitely Seiyo. it was kind of odd yet cool how Juruu and Carantula were messing around with the paints. Yeah, it was a little bit weird at first, but then when you start seeing what's unfolding and the impact that Juruu and his creations have had on her, on Carantula, and then seeing Carantula, seeing how free and happy he is to create, and just, you know. Was it odd? Yeah, because we just never seen them in that position before. But hell yeah, if it actually didn't turn to some pretty good storytelling, if you ask me. I haven't seen the preview yet. So I will leave that that comment unread, at least on here. But I will check out the preview. But I literally always stay when it comes to Kiramager. I usually will always stay for like that mid-credit scene, and then the dancing and blah yada yada, and then we'll go ahead and turn it off. But listen, guys, I'm kind of curious to know how you guys felt in regards to this episode. I can understand some people feeling a certain type of way about it for sure, but for me, I really felt that there was a lot more within this episode than certainly just the adorable Katniss that we wind up getting. And no, I don't mean from Hunger Games, but yeah, at the end of the day, I want to know what you guys think. So feel free to go ahead and let your thoughts be known in the comment section box below, guys. And listen, if you continue to love our content, you want to come back for more, you want to continue to show your support, do us a big favor, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification, and of course, importantly, that big like button, guys. Get that big thumbs up if you certainly can. But until next time, guys, do us a big favor. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And until next time, keep it A+. I'll talk to you guys later. Caramel change!